All right guys, welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to be talking a little bit more about fall, and more specifically I wanted to kind of dive into the scenarios where you want to throw big magnum large baits, and the scenarios when you want to downsize and throw little finesse baits that imitate shad this time of year, because both tactics will work in certain situations, and I kind of wanted to share my experience and my opinions on when it's appropriate to do either one. But first off, I do want to mention that if you guys haven't subscribed to the channel, I would really appreciate it if you consider hitting that subscribe button and also liking these videos, as long as you do enjoy the content. If you do find this content helpful, consider hitting that subscribe button. I would really appreciate the support. And also, you know, if you guys have any questions about bass fishing related topics, and, you know, whether it's tactics, scenarios, locations, whatever it may be, please drop a comment below. Even if it's not pertaining to that exact video that you're commenting on, I really like to answer your questions and to do these videos, and it also helps me create the content that you guys see on this channel. So I really like to answer specific questions from people on this channel and do, you know, full videos like this one. So now let's get started in talking about fall bass fishing, and you know, when to upsize bait, you know, throw a big swim bait or a big topwater bait like this, or downsize and throw something a little bit more finesse like this right here. Okay, so first off, you got to understand what's going on during the fall. So during the fall, obviously temperatures are dropping, you know, things are changing, the lakes are starting to get drawn down in many situations, and the shad migration is the big thing. So here on the TVA specifically, you know, like Lake Chickamauga, you've got two different things going on. You've got a huge migration of the threadfin shad into the backs of the creeks like this right here. And so you see these big groups of you know, little tiny threadfin shad, maybe, you know, 2 inches long, in the backs of these creeks. And you'll still see some gizzard shad. Those are still moving around. But on the main river, you will see more gizzard shad activity than for threadfin activity. So in the backs of the creeks, you got all those little tiny bait fish, and then on the main river channel, you've got these big bait fish. And so what I've kind of discovered over the last, you know, several years fishing around the TVA is that, and this could pertain to a lot of different fisheries, but I'm more or less speaking specifically about the TVA. But what I found is that when I'm fishing the main river, you know, maybe I'm fishing some shallow main river bars, or, you know, fishing a main river grass edge where the grass is topped out because the water's dropping, you know, those are the scenarios where I'm going to want to fish something that imitates more of those gizzard shad, you know. So the bigger baits, such as, you know, these swim baits like this. I don't throw these swim baits near as much as I should, because a lot of people have a lot of success on it, and I have had a lot of success in the fall on swim baits like this, big gizzard shad imitators. But I like to also throw big walking topwater baits, like a big Zara spook, or one of those shower blows walking baits. Any of those are going to work really, really well. But you try to do those same exact techniques in the backs of these creeks on these flats, and you're likely not to even get a bite, you know, throughout the day. I mean, I'm not saying that you can't be successful. I'm just saying that the majority of the time, when you get into the backs of these creeks and off the main river channel, what you're going to want to do is start downsizing, because you're primarily going to be keying in on threadfin shad eaters in the backs of these creeks. So like my favorite technique, and I've talked about it a lot on this channel, is throwing a bait like this right here. This is a Z-Man minnows, and that's the finesse jig head on there. The minnows is traditionally a 3-inch swim bait. As you can see, I trimmed this one down to imitate the shad around here even further. And so it's right now it's only about 2.5 inches with the finesse jig head there. And so I have to downsize in the backs of these creeks, and this is by far my favorite way to catch them. And honestly, I've tried a lot of different things. I've tried downsizing my spinner baits, downsizing, you know, lipless crankbaits. I have had some success downsizing, you know, like little chatterbaits, like this chatterbait Mini Max. This one's actually pretty good, and it's got the minnows trailer on there. But the one thing that has been a consistent producer is that little finesse swim bait. So, you know, and you could probably get creative and find your own little, you know, tiny baits that imitate the shad. But the biggest key when it comes to like fishing these backwaters during the fall is really downsizing and going pretty small, because threadfin are kind of on the tops of the minds of the bass in the backs of these areas, while the main river channel, you know, those are generally, you know, gizzard shad eaters. Now, I'm not saying that they're not eating gizzard shad backs in these creeks, and I'm not saying they're not eating a threadfin out on the main river channel, but this is just kind of the consistent pattern that I've seen year in and year out. Small on the backs of the creeks, big on the main river. So anyways, guys, those are just some of my thoughts on this this discussion between big baits and small baits during the fall. Definitely both of them work for sure, and it's just a matter of the type of bait fish that the fish are feeding on in the area that you're fishing, and that's kind of the big balance that you need to figure out. But anyways, guys, drop a comment below. Let me know what you think about you know, my thoughts on big versus small during the fall, and yeah, if you have any questions or you want me to do a video, of course, you know, again, drop that question down in the comment section, and I will try to do a video on that topic. So thank you guys very much for watching. Make sure you like, share, subscribe. I'm going to see you out on the water. Take care.